Marcus Lemonis is the CEO of Camping World, and he's absolutely a mad lad in the best possible way. He is helping the NASCAR Truck Series in ways that I just cannot even imagine, and his most recent Camping World Challenge is perhaps the craziest thing and the most helpful thing he's ever done for the sport. We're going to be talking about that and much more racing news right now. And we start with America's F1 team. Haas F1 finally got a red, white, and blue car. And unfortunately, we have to thank Russia for making it possible. Yep, the Say No to Mazepan stands will be none too pleased about this livery. And yeah, it's definitely quite a wet fart, so to speak, to have the American colors arranged on the American car in the shape of the Russian flag. There's no doubt about that. Fairly significant news coming out of France today, and that is that the 24 Hours of Le Mans for 2021 has been postponed to August 20th to the 21st. Now, the reason for this may sound very similar on this channel, is an effort to have fans in attendance for this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. Yeah, it definitely sounds familiar. I've seen this one before. Let's see how it works out for them. Now, because of this, there's been quite a bit of shuffling on the American side of things in the sports car realm. Virginia International Raceway, the GT-only race, has been pushed back into the year, which has meant that Petit Le Mans has now also been delayed. That endurance classic moves to November 10th to the 13th. And I have to say, opinion here, I'm excited for it because it means racing late into November, and hopefully we will for sure be at that event covering that one in person. And by the way, one of the drivers we'll get to see at the Petit Le Mans is Jimmy Johnson in his number 48 Ally Bank Cadillac. They will be running all of the endurance races in IMSA for 2021. That was announced this week. That means 12 hours of Sebring, 6 hours of Watkins Glen, and Petit Le Mans this year. And the band is getting back together from the Rolex 24. Kamui Kobayashi and Simon Pagenaud will fill out that seat along with Jimmy Johnson in the Action Express number 48. This is fantastic news for IMSA. We saw the bump the NASCAR drivers brought to the Rolex, and I'm sure they'll be bringing it the rest of the season. IndyCar hosted its Media Day, or I guess they call it now Content Day today, so let's go over some of the notes that have nothing to do with Connor Daly's new mullet. Pietro Fittipaldi is confirmed as the driver of the number 51 Rick Ware Dale Coyne Racing Honda on the ovals this year, filling in for Romain Grosjean. Now, that being said, speaking of Romain Grosjean and speaking of ovals, there may be a chance to see Grosjean on the ovals this year. He has certainly not ruled out the possibility that he would run for the team at Gateway in a third car, so stay tuned for that news. Brian Herta will be calling strategy for his son Colton this year, the number 26 Gainbridge Andretti Autosport Honda. This could be a huge partnership. I think a lot of people have forgotten how good Brian Herta is on the box, and assuming father and son can get on the same page, you got to remember that Brian Herta nurtured both Alexander Rossi and Dan Weldon to Indianapolis 500 wins. I definitely have Colton kind of pinned as one of the drivers who could win the championship this year, and Brian Herta joining forces with his son. This could be a really big deal. St. Petersburg announced today that they will host 20,000 fans per day at their second race of the IndyCar season. Now, there's still no news from Barber Motorsports Park on fans, which is the first race of the season, but we're hoping to hear something very soon, and it hopefully will be positive news for fans who want to attend that event. And finally, Racer.com is reporting that Kamui Kobayashi is interested in running IndyCar races in the future. Now, there's no announcement to be made at this time, but I think it's very important to watch this space. As I've mentioned before, Kamui Kobayashi is one of the most talented race car drivers in the world, and he would be a massive asset to what is already an incredibly star-studded IndyCar series. And now we get to talk about Mad Lad Marcus Lemonis. So, this week, Marcus put out a challenge on Twitter to any unsponsored truck in the Camping World Truck Series. If you wrap your truck in Camping World colors and get Marcus's approval, you will get $15,000 money up front to run at Las Vegas. And to increase the interest in this, it will increase $25,000 to $25,000 if you can get a top 10 and $50,000 if a Camping World sponsored Camping World truck gets the win at Las Vegas on Friday. 10 trucks have taken up this challenge, and for those keeping score, that's 25% of the 40 truck field. Rest in peace, spotters. Those trucks participating and drivers participating are the number 2 truck of Sheldon Creed, the number 3 truck of Jordan Anderson, the number 6 truck of Norm Benning, of all people, Grant Imfinger in the number 9, Raphael Lessard in the number 24, Jesse Iwuji in the number 33, BJ McLeod in the number 34, the 41 truck of Dawson Cram, the number 56 of Tyler Hill, and the number 75 truck of Parker Kligerman. Insane. But it doesn't stop there. Mad Marcus was still going. He promised that you could get $100 gift cards to any thing under the Camping World banner, any store under the Camping World banner, if you run a Camping World scheme in iRacing this week. That has a potential to be really expensive for Marcus. And to continue with the iRacing things, he plans to give away an RV. He's planning on giving away an RV to the best iRacing paint scheme that he feels he likes the most that has Camping World on it. This is absolutely insane. So, just so we're clear, on principle, I need to say this. If you're a racing fan in the United States and you're free when the Truck Series race comes on, I implore you to watch it, because we've got to support this. I mean, this is a genius marketing strategy, and quite frankly, it's something that I think racing fans have wanted for so long. Truly engaged partners. You know, you think of so many kind of title sponsors that really kind of don't do all that much. Here, you've got a title sponsor for the third rung on the kind of NASCAR ladder system, going way out of their way not to just support the big teams, but to throw that challenge out there and say, hey, if you're unsponsored, if you need some help this week, we're going to help you out. And following through on that. And I certainly believe that Marcus Lemonis is going to follow through. I think a lot of people have mentioned the J.D. Stacy fiasco. And I think, that is something to consider, that I suppose he could just renege on this whole deal, but that doesn't seem to be what's happening here. It seems like Marcus Lemonis is committing to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. And by the way, I guess I forgot to mention this in kind of the slideshow part of this whole thing, but he's doing this for NHRA too. That's what's he's going to sponsor anybody who's unsponsored in NHRA. That's just like, holy crap, how to start out a title sponsor program there. Again, this is exactly what racing has kind of needed. We need people like this invested in the sport and willing to help those out who are making it happen. I mean, when has a title sponsor of a series ever done something like this? And even going as far as to put it into that sim racing side of things, so that fans or even just people who never really had a chance or can't afford to go racing for real can feel like they're sponsored by Camping World, get invested in that brand. This is brilliant. And you've got to think about how much ink this is creating, so to speak. I guess now we talk about words on Twitter, but it's the same thing. How much interest this is generating, how much searching this is going to cause for Camping World. This is brilliant. And you think about how, 10 trucks at $15,000, that's $150,000 just in sponsorship investment. And that's assuming, of course, that none of the trucks finish in the top 10, which is unlikely considering they cover a fourth of the field. But at minimum, it's probably going to be anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000, depending on who wins the race or who doesn't, or who places and who doesn't. But that's such a small advertising buy for everybody talking about the goodwill alone bought here is just crazy. And certainly, you don't think Fox Sports is going to talk about this on the broadcast? Are you kidding me? Camping World is probably going to get mentioned 1,000 times, and you think I'm joking? Probably not. And it's going to be exciting from a racing perspective, too, because he's incentivized doing well. So you're going to see teams trying things, trying different strategies, really trying to win rather than, I guess they don't points race anymore, but you're going for some cash money now that you wouldn't have had otherwise, in addition to your guaranteed 15 grand that you've already got for just running the Camping World colors. And not to mention as well that there are some small businesses getting involved here because of the wrapping that's being done. I mean, Marcus Lemonis was very clear. You have to wrap it yourself. Are you in or out, as he said on Twitter. And there have been small wrapping companies that Marcus Lemonis has been tweeting out to his, 500,000 people on Twitter. I mean, this is great for the industry. Again, I very much endorse, I certainly will be watching. Everybody watch the damn truck race because, first of all, the trucks put on the best racing in NASCAR. As far as I'm concerned, it's close with the Xfinity Series, but I think the trucks are just so wild and crazy, and this is going to add, kind of it being a bounty race, that's definitely going to add to some of that excitement and chaos and all the things we love about the Truck Series. So yeah, I'm all for this. Big ups, Marcus Lemonis, you mad lad. Thanks for supporting auto racing. I hope we can support you back, even if, at least yours truly can't afford an RV right now on a YouTube budget. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. Subscribe for more motorsport content, and I will see you in the next video.